You know how when we think about countries, it's usually the big ones that pop into our heads, like the US, India, or China. But honestly, there are loads of tiny countries out there most people have never even heard of. Some are so small you could walk across them in less than an hour, and others are hidden away in spots you'd never expect. Today I want to share with you 10 of these countries that probably didn't even know were real. First up, there's Tuvalu. It's this tiny little island in the Pacific Ocean, and seriously, you could stroll from one end to the other in under an hour. Only about 11,000 people live there, so yeah, it's tiny. But here's the wild part. Rising sea levels from climate change are slowly swallowing the islands, and sometimes parts of it even get flooded during high tide. Crazy, right? Even with all that, Tuvalu makes money off its internet domain, TV. Yep, all those TV websites pay for that. Next is Nauru, another tiny island in the Pacific, just 21 square kilometers. Back in the 70s, it was super rich thanks to phosphate mining, one of the richest countries per person at one point. But once the mines dried up, things got rough. Now, they struggle financially, and get this, over 90% of the people there are overweight. No public buses or trains either, so folks just walk or drive around. Still, the beach is absolutely stunning. Then we have San Marino, smack in the middle of Italy. It's home to about 34,000 people and actually pretty well off. No airport there, but it's famous for its medieval castles and those charming old towns. Honestly, it's impressive how such a tiny place has so much history and wealth. Next up is Liechtenstein, tucked between Switzerland and Austria. With less than 40,000 people, it's known for being super rich and beautiful. Here's a fun fact. They once offered to rent out the entire country for a day to businesses. Imagine that, renting a whole country. Plus, they've got more registered companies than people living there. Then there's Palau, made up of over 500 islands in the Pacific. It's paradise on Earth with crystal clear water and some of the best coral reefs you'll find. The people there really care about the environment. They were the first country to ban sunscreens that harm coral reefs, and every visitor has to promise to protect nature while they're there. Thanks to that, the place stays super clean and beautiful. All right, moving on to Comoros. Honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you'd never heard of it. It's a tiny island country off Africa's east coast, between Madagascar and Mozambique. It's small, not very rich, but absolutely gorgeous. Think volcanic mountains, thick forests, and coral reefs straight out of a travel mag. Fun fact, they call it the Perfume Islands because they grow ylang-ylang, a flower used in fancy perfumes worldwide. Pretty neat, huh? Now Vanuatu, another island nation way out in the South Pacific. Around 80 islands, many with active volcanoes still rumbling. The locals live super close to nature and keep a lot of their old traditions alive. And get this, they speak over 100 different languages. Can you imagine such a tiny place with so many ways to chat? You might have heard of Bhutan, a small country way up in the Himalayas between India and China. What makes it special is how they measure success, not by money, but by happiness. Yep, they call it gross national happiness. They protect their culture fiercely and don't just let anyone visit. It's their way of keeping things authentic and untouched. Now, Moldova, a tiny country squeezed between Romania and Ukraine. Most people don't even realize it's there, but it's got some cool stuff going on, especially with wine. They've got one of the biggest underground wine cellars in the world, with tunnels stretching for miles. Sounds like a dream, right? Last but definitely not least is Tuva, part of Russia way out in southern Siberia. It's wild, remote, and full of forests, mountains, and open spaces. But the coolest thing, their throat singing? Yeah, they literally sing 2 notes at once. It sounds kind of weird, but honestly, it's beautiful and almost like something from another planet. So, that's it. 10 tiny countries you probably never even knew existed, each with its own crazy story and vibe. Some are fighting rising seas, others are keeping ancient traditions alive, and all of them prove the world's way more interesting than those boring old maps. If you liked this little trip around the globe, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing facts. Which country surprised you the most? Drop a comment, I want to know.